Hello, I'm Jay Mitchell, and this is Healthy Men Talk. Okay, so in the studio today we have Rory, who's come along from Sunflowers. We're going to talk about the charity and the work they do, and so we're just going to get straight into it, and hopefully you're going to get something from this, something that you might use. If you don't use it, pass it on. It's not an issue. Just get and like the page, as I always say. Rory, thanks for coming.
No worries, man.
And
thanks for inviting me.
that's appreciate you coming along. I know you've got quite a busy schedule as well, so I won't keep you too long. For those at home, what's Sunflowers about?
Yeah, so Sunflowers Suicide Support. So we're a suicide support charity running out of Gloucestershire. So we cover all of Gloucestershire County, based out of Stonehouse, and yeah, we're basically there to help the bereaved of, unfortunately, families that have lost loved ones or friends that have lost friends to suicide. So the charity was started off back 2018 by Abby Warren.
Okay.
She lost her brother to suicide, and following that experience with her family, they felt there was a real gap in kind of professional services to support families for suicide loss in particular. So from that, they kind of put together Sunflowers. So directly from their experience of going through all of the kind of fallout of that kind of devastating bombshell that unfortunately a lot of families go through. So that was the impetus behind Sunflowers being started up. And so, we've been going strong since then. I think just last year we've supported over 450 families across Gloucestershire, just Gloucestershire. Yeah. So unfortunately, our service is in demand, but we're just really proud to be able to offer that to our local community in Gloucestershire.
It's a weird one. It's a bit of a double-edged sword, isn't it? Because it's like the reason you're there is because, and that must be difficult as well. But
we were actually we were having team meetings recently, talking about kind of our mission and our kind of what Sunflowers is all about. And one of my colleagues, Chloe, put it really well, where she said, to be honest, guys, ideally we don't want to be here.
Yeah.
In an ideal world, Sunflowers shouldn't exist. Which is a really interesting way of looking at it. But because we don't live in that ideal, there is a need, and at least we can help cover our county. It is a double-edged sword, like you say.
450
families,
That's crazy,
that we've supported.
When I started this sort of journey, and I was looking into suicide, not looking into suicide, you know what I mean. And one of the stats that I found was Gloucestershire's like in the top 5 in the country for male suicides. That blew my mind. But I live here. This is my county. You know what I mean? And it was like, what? And then I thought back and was like, I've known at least 4 people in my past, friends, and that have committed suicide. The stats are crazy.
I'm not sure the latest stats, but I do know that Gloucestershire has historically, or for at least a while, been above average, at least in terms of the stats across the country.
Any idea why?
Not really. I mean, there's so many factors that go into it. There are kind of some commonalities that you can speculate about, but one thing I do know is that there does seem to be did some suicide prevention training recently, and one thing that they pointed out was that the further away from London you travel across the country, the rates tend to creep up, which is odd, because you kind of assume London being so hectic, so high pressured, so stressful. But actually it's kind of the other way around. The further away from the capital that you get, there tends to be this general kind of slight increase, which is interesting. But it might be down to resources, access to resources. Maybe more rural places, rural counties may not have as quick access. Maybe a bit more social isolation. If you live out in a rural community, it's quite isolated.
When you put it like that makes sense.
But we also tend to think of cities as quite isolating places as well, even though you're in amongst it. Everyone's kind of
in their own world, aren't they?
So there's so many things that go into it. It's hard, but unfortunately, yeah, Gloucestershire seems to be slightly above average, I think, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, yeah, I just find that crazy, especially because I live here, and I
Yeah,
think so when I was saying earlier about when I was doing this journey, when I was calling people to see if they would come to the golf day, and I'd explain to them what it was about, and they, oh yeah, my uncle, my brother, my dad, my like they, but it was how easy they would say, oh yeah, my mate done it last year, and that should never be an easy conversation, should it? Do you know what I mean? It shouldn't roll off the tongue. Oh yeah, so I know done it. Like, and it blew my mind how easy men would acknowledge it as if like, yeah, it happens, like it's the norm, and that that
yeah,
that saddened me.
yeah. I think until um, you've gone through something as devastating as a suicide, sometimes you tend not to notice how prevalent it is, because there is still this kind of stigma around suicide. Um, so I guess maybe people are less willing to talk about whether they or their families have been impacted by it. But when someone does mention it, then yeah, like you say, you'd be surprised how many people kind of
Yeah,
jump on and say, "Oh yeah, yeah."
yeah,
So yeah, I think people do still struggle to talk about it because it has this kind of has a lot of baggage around that word. Um, but we are getting better overall at kind of normalizing it and making it an easier topic to talk
yeah.
about for sure. Yeah,
But that's why I started doing what I was doing. It was more a case of just getting people to open up, let alone men open up, just getting people to open up, and I'm struggling, and I think in the last 5 years, it's very prominent now. Like you said, it's becoming more and more easy for people to open up. They're not being stigmatized anymore. So how does the pattern start? So let's just say, for example, someone's lost something. What's the first stage of contacting you? What then happens to the family? So what, you know what I mean? Like, what's the procedure as such?
yes. With a suicide, usually the police obviously get involved quite early on because it's considered an unnatural cause of
Yeah,
death. So the family are most cases, I think, are going to be dealing with the police um, or emergency services straight away. And actually, yeah, police emergency services are signposting a lot of people to us, which is really good to
that's
hear
good.
because it means that we are prominent in their minds.
Yeah,
And I think because they know that we take a lot take on a lot in terms of supporting the families, it helps the police because they need to do that until the family get to the support, the longer term support they need.
yeah.
So if the police can get the family to Sunflowers, either just giving them our number, um, the faster the better. A lot of GPs are referring people to Sunflowers as well, which
Oh
is
wow.
really positive. So we do have some good kind of coverage in in doctor surgeries, police, healthcare professionals will refer people to Sunflowers if they feel like the people they're supporting would benefit from a dedicated suicide support um, service as well as their ongoing kind of mental health treatment. So yeah, that's really positive. We know that we are getting referred to by external services, and then also a lot of people will just self-refer.
Yeah,
Um, just Google us and self-refer, or a lot of word of mouth as well. We
yeah,
get a lot of people saying that they've heard about us. Um, so yeah, they make a referral, and then within 48 hours, someone from our liaison team that I'm a part of will reach out, make contact, and we'll try and then have an initial meeting with the bereaved, ideally face to face, and then go from there.
yeah.
So that's kind of the process. So yeah, you can refer yourself, or someone can refer on your behalf.
Oh, that's brilliant. The fact that
Yeah,
police and GPs and they're
yeah,
putting, because when you think of that, like especially like touching on what you said about the police, I they obviously would like to give more care, but they have to give a care to a point, and then it's like, okay, we've got everything to do.
they have to hand
They
over.
have to hand over. So with you know the likes of Sunflowers there waiting to take over, I think it's only a positive, really, isn't it?
Yeah, and if that can be the kind of like the norm, if you like, then Sunflowers can fill that kind of critical service that, unfortunately, when Abby went through it with her brother, there wasn't a sunflowers for the police to hand to,
Yeah.
and so it felt like this kind of chasm that the police kind of, they can only do so much, and then you're kind of on your own to deal
Yeah.
with the aftermath. When you get into things like inquests and all of that kind of admin, just can make what's already a horrible just situation even more nightmarish. So that's, on a practical level, that's where sunflowers can come in and help
Yeah.
take some of that practical stuff off their plate as
You
well.
also put in a, I'm not saying the police aren't, but you also put in a human face to it. You're a human bond, a human interaction, and
Yeah.
people appreciate that as opposed to a letter or a phone call. Do you know what I mean? Do you do a lot of house visits, or do you get them to come to you? Like, what's the sort of situation with that?
Yeah, that's usually the norm. So obviously, if someone's gone through something like a suicide of a loved one, the last thing you want to do really is traipse out to an office and talk to a stranger about asking for support. You may not even know what support you want. You may just, all you want to do is just be inside, in a very fragile place. So we do a lot of house visits, which is completely fine. So me and the liaison team will drive all across the county, um, all the way to Chipping Camden or Moreton on Marsh, or all the way to the forest. So no matter where you are in Gloucestershire, we can get to you. I think that helps a lot. I think it goes a long way. People are just really grateful that you've taken the time to get to their door and sit down and just listen to what they've gone through, whether it's the last month or even if it's a historical death years ago.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter for us. So
that's what I mean about that human.
Yeah.
The fact that someone's gone to the house
Yeah.
and generally trying to help. I think that helps straight away.
Yeah.
It's that sinking feeling of, like you said, the after effects is, and the police investigating and this and that and drumming up things that maybe they don't want to hear about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, like, again, I think you do amazing work. I think, is there many, when you were on about resources earlier, is there many charities like Sunflowers around Gloucester, let alone up and down the country? Is it?
There's a couple. So there's GSAS as well, which I think operate in our area, and you've got people like the Samaritans as well, which obviously nationwide.
Yeah.
But yeah, there is a kind of, unfortunately, in this day and age, there's lots of great services and organisations out there, but sometimes they can be quite disparate, and people may not even know that they exist. So promoting sunflowers is just as important as having the service there, just so people know where to go to access. But yeah, I think off the top of my head, yeah, GSAS I think operate in our area as well. Yeah.
Okay. How do sunflowers sort of advertise? I mean, obviously, like you said, the police go directly, like referring GPs do. What more can sunflowers do to get their, not brand, obviously, you know what I mean, sort of the message out to, look, there's this support network.
Get the visibility out. Yeah, it's a good point.
Yeah, get the visibility out. Yeah.
Yeah, we do quite a lot of fundraising events throughout the year. So we've got a really fun fundraising team in the office that always thinking of new ways to promote sunflowers through a fun kind of engaging event. So one of our big ones coming up that I've been cajoled into is our wing walk in September.
Oh, you're doing a wing walk,
So
are you?
doing a wing walk at Redcombe Airfield, just outside of Siren.
Yeah, I know Redcombe College.
Yeah.
I've done the roof from the post office there.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
man. Yeah. So I don't know how I agreed to it, but I've signed up. So me and my colleague Brandon, shout out to Brandon because he was even more reluctant to join than me, but we've signed up now. And yeah, basically you just get strapped to the top of a biplane and it flies around and does barrel rolls and loop the loops and stuff. So I think our target is £2,000 that we want to raise.
Oh wow! I
think we've already raised 300 or 400 so far, but we need to kind of promote that. So me and Brandon are both in the liaison team at Sunflowers. Yeah. So we just thought it'd be fun to for people from the staff at Sunflowers to get in amongst it as well. Yeah. Obviously, we rely on amazing fundraisers like yourself. You've fundraised for us in the past, and volunteers as well. So these kinds of community events engagement events. We try and promote sunflowers through that. But there's always more that we can do to kind of increase our visibility. And we've also got the website, obviously, that people can hopefully find easy enough. So
yeah. Well, I share quite a few things. Like I saw, is it Stormwalk?
yeah, we've got storm
Yeah,
walks that
Stormwalk.
we do. So I think it's once a month or every other month we try and do just a nice local walk somewhere in in Gloucestershire. Just an easy enough walk, 1 or 2 hours, and you can bring friends or family, bring the dog, kids, and it's just a way to kind of one get out,
Yeah.
no matter the weather. Hence the name Storms Walk. So
I was going to say I was a bit worried, like
even if it's absolutely pissing it down, you can bring yourself, bring whoever, and the idea is that no matter rain or shine, you can kind of complete the walk together. And it's also a nice way just to see that you're not the only one that has been touched by suicide. There's other people, and it's okay to acknowledge that. Which I think is really helpful for people.
No, I
just
agree.
To see other people that turn up.
Seeing other people and think, I think that's one issue that I think growing up, I've lost friends over the years. It's always the after, because people are not trained. So let's just say, for example, me and you, we're friends growing up, and someone or a brother or something or whatever passes, right? I'm not trained to deal with it. I'm not trained to talk to you the way you need to be talked to. So I think a lot of people struggle to open up, for one, because it's the questions I always find people ask: why do you do it, or why did they do it? Like, it's always that. But I just think people are not trained to be able to talk. It's a pattern about, it'd be all right, mate. You'll get easier. Do you know what I mean? I think men, especially, are very hard at
finding. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's trying
finding the right words and kind of gauging the right kind of vibe to talk about something really unexpected, because due to the nature of suicide, it comes out of the blue. It's not something that you're anticipating having to deal with. So one, it's just sprung on you, and two, it's obviously extremely traumatic. It's a very visceral thing. So I think a lot of people struggle to find the words, and even if they love your friend or your family, and you're trying to find a way to support them, if you don't know yourself, if you can't even get your head around it, then how I can understand that kind of difficulty in trying to talk about it.
I suppose a friend of mine, this is where I started this, one of the reasons why I started this. His brother took his own life, and he had been suffering with depression, and he'd sought help, and it was one of those, when it came along, obviously it was devastating. And I remember going around to visit him, and I just took like some pizza around, because I knew they wouldn't have eaten. I just took a box of pizza and just sat there with them.
Yeah. If in doubt and you're not sure what to say or what to do to help somebody, bringing around hot, cooked, homemade food is just 100%. You guaranteed you can't go wrong, because they're going to be all over the place. They may not have stuff in the fridge for weeks because their whole routine, their whole life just turned upside down. So that's a great kind of practical thing that you can do to help.
I didn't have the words.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, what can you say to that?
Yeah.
Just being out, I think they appreciated.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think that's where a lot of people go wrong. Sometimes they shy away from it, because they're like, they ain't going to want to hear from me, because what am I going to say to them? But just being present sometimes with people, just sitting there, I think works. Not works. It's not be all end all, but it helps a bit, I suppose.
Yeah, I think it's just the acknowledgement that you've given your time to them, and you're not trying to pretend to fix it. Like, that it's the worst thing that can happen, but you've given your time, and I think that goes a long way. That's more than trying to find like a clever thing to say, or trying to explain it away, or trying to fix it. just giving someone your time.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the liaison team, that's our principal role, is just to give people our time, and a lot of times, you know, people that reach out, they know that they want help, but they don't know what help necessarily. Sometimes they might need a few sit downs just to kind of debrief, unpack what's going through their head. There can be quite an emotional range, um, going from, obviously anger and, really distraught to quite manic kind of, energies. And so just having the time to sit and unpack, talk through what's happened, and then our jobs are to kind of mainly listen. We aren't trained counsellors. That comes later, that we can help with, providing free counselling to people. But we can help tease out what are they struggling with at the moment, what's going to be the right support, and then the liaison officer then sets up the support for them. So it's all based on that unique individual and the unique kind of situation. Um, so a lot of ways that we can help straight off the bat is whilst they're still processing what's happened, because that in itself can take months, just to get your head around what's happened. We can take off some of the pressure in terms of the admin. So um, we can liaise with the coroner's office for the inquest,
Okay.
or the police if necessary on their behalf. Just take some of the pressure off.
Yeah.
So
I imagine that's a lot of pressure you're taking off, because
yeah,
they're not going to, something they're not going to want to deal with straight away.
yeah. So that's something practical that we can help straight away. And we talk to the Gloucester Coroner's offices pretty regularly, and they're a fantastic team. They're really supportive, and they know that we are helping them in a sense. If we can, pass on info to the family, when's the inquest going to be, what's going to be included in the inquest file. So if we can kind of help facilitate that to the family, then it helps the coroner's office, helps the family, is most importantly. So that's just one example of support that we can help straight away with.
I think that's brilliant.
But yeah, people do need to just talk, and sometimes to talk to someone like a blank canvas, in a neutral setting. So someone from Sunflowers, because it may be quite tricky to talk about their loved one in front of the rest of their family.
Yeah.
A lot of people get angry, not at the situation, they get angry at themselves, they get angry at what's happened, and sometimes they might censor themselves to not upset their other family members. So it's important for us to facilitate that space so that they can express their range of emotions for what is like an unprecedented experience.
No, I get that completely, because there might be, there's said, for example, in families, someone might think that person's, like the golden child, absolutely amazing, and the other one thinks, oh, actually, they were actually a bit of an asshole.
Yeah, there's all different.
And do you know what I mean? So
family dynamics, the family tensions can kind of get quite frayed around something as sensitive as this. So yeah, it's a good opportunity just to have one-to-one with someone that's outside of that, and just
do you offer
through.
like family counselling, or is it just
No? So all our support, we try and keep it one-to-one, because everyone that we work with has different needs. We do have family liaison officers who work with children. So Brandon's our dedicated family liaison officer. He works with children, I think, from around 7 or 8 up to 18, really. But for adults, we try and keep it one-to-one, because like we say, like it can get quite, sometimes it can get quite tense with family dynamics, and even if the family unit is really strong and they're really close knit, really supportive, it's still important to have that option for one-to-one support, just in case you're like, actually, you know what, like I quite fancy trying some counselling, or I quite fancy joining the support group. Maybe your partner doesn't and wants something different. Even if you both get on and you're both working out, what's happened. So
do you so with the one-to-ones, I not timeline, but so they can call you whenever. So like you said earlier, like if it's 10 years ago or whatever, they need a bit of support, bring up, need a chat, they can.
Yeah.
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 So it's not just instant. It's
No.
it's
Yeah.
for as long as you need it.
Yeah. I've I support people that have lost someone decade ago, over a decade ago, and they're still struggling with certain aspects. Um, Sometimes, yeah, like you say, it could be instant. Someone that's just lost somebody a few weeks ago, but there's no time scale involved. You can always reach out to Sunflowers
Yeah.
and you get the exact same level of
That's
support.
brilliant.
Yeah,
That's brilliant.
and there's no kind of kickoff point as well. So we support families for years. It's not like we work with you for 3 months and then see you later. It's
Yeah,
you
that
can
was my
stay as
point.
long as you want, and you
I
can.
think that's brilliant.
Yeah.
That was my point. It was more of a case of some charities or doctors sort of with, especially like with mental health, it's for so long, 2 3 months, and then it's like go ahead and deal with it.
Yeah.
But the fact that you are there as long as you need them, that's a win.
It's great. Yeah. It's really proud to be able to offer that.
I think you do amazing work, and something you said earlier actually, it just keeps playing in my mind. It's like, well, when we talk like double-edged sword, it's in the office. You said someone said, "Oh, we shouldn't be here. We shouldn't be needed." But the fact you are, because it does happen, whether you like it or not, the fact you are, and you're growing, because you moved into new offices last year, didn't you?
Yeah, bigger office.
Yeah, I caught a glimpse of the last office just before, because it's literally like just over the road, isn't it?
Yeah. Same business estate. Yeah, so
it was chaos when I dropped the money off. Well, we've done a transfer, but there was boxes everywhere. Everyone was like back and forth, and it was like, oh, okay, yeah. And then we quickly had a picture.
All kicking off.
It was all kicking off. So, what's the new space like? Quite large.
Yeah,
a lot more rooms.
So the office, we've got dedicated counselling rooms, so we can part of the service that we offer, which I think is the kind of jewel in the crown, really, is that we offer free counselling sessions for anyone that comes to Sunflowers, which is great because NHS waiting times can be quite long these days, and if you go private, it can be quite expensive.
Yeah.
So to offer 10 free counselling sessions to anyone that walks through the door is fantastic. So we have counselling rooms if you want to have a session at the office, or have a liaison support one-to-one. You can come to the office, and we've got a big kind of area downstairs where we can host things like support groups in the evenings.
Okay.
That we run for one we run in the office, and the other one we run in Gloucester. So yeah, support groups in the evenings once a month, and also things like art groups as well. So we try to host kind of meetups at the office as well. So yeah, there's always people coming and going. It's a lovely atmosphere. The team's fantastic, and it's just really good space just to kind of hold people no matter what it is they need.
One of the things I'm sort of looking into now is and quite a few of the interviews that I've done have been not heavy but like sport orientated, so fitness, health and fitness.
Yeah.
Because when you go to a doctor and it's like, I'm feeling down, they're like, oh, you exercising? Because it's a natural endorphin to exercise.
Yeah.
So I was thinking about possibly another charity like a sport orientated charity. Do you know of any?
Not off the top of my head.
No. I was googling some, but
I'm not the most sporty chap, unfortunately.
No.
But, I like watching the rugby with a pint of Guinness, but it's been a while since I played any rugby. But no, I can't think of any sporting charities. I did watch a YouTube video of Prince William talking about mental fitness.
Yeah.
He's got that campaign, Mental Fitness, which has just reminded me when you're talking about that. So it's quite a good way of framing it in the context of fitness rather than just health.
Yeah.
I think that's quite useful for some people to think of it in that way, like training your mind like you would train your body.
Yeah.
I think that's gives people a bit more of a grasp around mental health, because it can sound a bit weird, that term, can't it? Like sometimes people don't know what it means, but mental fitness kind of it resonated with me. But
no, I agree. People don't realize. No, that's exactly what I mean. Is like, I've touched on this before. Let's just say, for example, physical health. You got to do a doctor, don't you? If there's something wrong. with mental health, you don't go to a doctor unless it gets really bad. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
even just having an off day, people just go, I'm having an off day. And that's fine. If you can sort of distinguish between just having an off day, but it's recognizing, actually, I'm not doing too well. I need to seek some help here. People don't seek help unless it's really bad. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's same with, let's just say, if your arm breaks, you're going to go to the doctor, aren't you? Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? So you're
Yeah.
waiting for a break before you go to the doctor. But with mental health, you're waiting for a break, like a mental breakdown, before you go and seek help. And it's trying to get in early to recognize it. And yeah, I don't know. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I
It's
don't think people talk about that enough.
yeah. It's a really good point. Like recognizing what your capacity is, or what the kind of warning signs might be, um, or like or keeping or kind of training yourself mentally. Kind of, I think part of that goes with that is self care.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of goes hand in hand with this mental fitness idea. Um, and I know that self care, some people kind of assume it's like self indulgent or
Mm-hmm.
like selfish sometimes,
Yeah.
but actually, you know, since working at Sunflowers, they really emphasize part of the training is that you've got to make sure that you look after yourself. Um, so do things that that take care of you as well, so that you've got capacity to look after people professionally, but also your loved ones and your
Yeah.
family. And that we see that a lot with people that we support. Self care goes out the window
Mm-hmm.
day one, especially parents, mums and dads that are looking after the kids. That's their focus, or caregiver roles in the family. They are trying to hold space for everyone else, um, and their self care goes out the window. And if they're the carers, we need to be able to care for the carers,
Mm-hmm.
just as much. So
Yeah.
learning what self care routines work for you that just keep you topped up, can help with the mental side as
Yeah.
well. So it's that, yeah.
It's always that sort of old adage of prevention better than, is it, no, what's it, is it cure better? I forgot the saying. Cure, no,
I
it's
know what
gone.
you mean.
Do you know what I mean?
It's on the tip of
Basically,
my tongue as
yeah,
well. Yeah.
I'm gonna be in bed tonight. I'm gonna like, I won't text you, don't worry. But yeah, it is a case of basically looking after yourself before you get too bad. And I think a lot of
Yeah.
people, and you've hit it on the head there, people don't know how to do that because they just focus on everyone else. And then for so long, and then all of a sudden, maybe they don't need your help anymore, or you have just got to a point of where you're like,
You burn out.
you're burnt out.
Yeah.
And it's recognizing burnout and recognizing triggers of, when you're spiraling. I think as a society, I think we're terrible at that
Yeah.
because we want to keep
For
busy,
sure.
don't we? We always want to keep busy. Oh, I got to take my mind off it. Keep busy, keep busy. But we had Andy in the studio the other day, and he was saying like you just keep yourself busy. But it's when you're laid in bed at night and you're just laid there,
Mm.
and all those thoughts come
all
flying
kinds
through,
of all kinds of things start
all
swimming
kind of
up to the
things.
surface. Be quite unnerving if you don't. It's like, why
Yeah,
am I thinking about that? That's
yeah.
yeah,
At 2 o'clock in the morning,
yeah, yeah,
like I'm tired. I want to go to sleep.
yeah,
Who cares about that argument I had in year 7
yeah,
with this? Like you just
yeah,
go. Do you know what I mean? You do, don't you? Because you
yeah.
don't deal with these issues every single day. And if we can get people to sort of do that, like just I don't know. I don't think people, especially during the day, we're very busy people. We get up. If you got family and kids, you make kids lunch boxes or whatever, or you get and you go off to work and then you're busy and then you come home, you got to make the dinners and then it's just
It's
non-stop, is it?
non-stop. Yeah.
So I don't know. What about you? How do you sort of take care of yourself? Like, what's one thing that when you feel you're getting to an extent?
So I'm a bit of a geek, really. So I like tabletop war games.
Okay.
So you heard of Warhammer,
Yes.
where you paint the models and then
Yes.
you roll the dice, and it's like these big
I used to
battles.
play it when I was very, very young. My
Yeah,
next door
yeah.
neighbor had a set, and I was just like, "Wow, not doing
Yeah,
that."
I used to be into it as a kid, and then when you get into your teenage years, it's not very cool, and you're going out
Yeah,
partying and chasing,
yeah.
whoever, and and then after, I think it was COVID, COVID hit, and I was just like, well, if it's the end of the world, I'm just going to get out the old models and just geek
Yeah.
out and do
Yeah.
reconnect with my childhood. And then since then, I've just been like, actually, this is really therapeutic. Like,
Yeah.
I can de-stress. It's like a bit of escapism. They are expensive, but it's a it's a healthy-ish hobby.
Yeah.
Um,
But that Henry Cavill,
Henry Cavill,
he's made it quite famous, hasn't he? You know,
yeah,
I think
man,
one of
he's
the
like
most famous men in the world.
yeah, he's like the poster child of
Yeah.
all that kind of fantasy role playing and Warhammer battles. He's promoted it a lot, and I've noticed as well that it's gotten a lot more popular now. Where like seems to be really big in the gym community as well.
Okay.
There's lots of like gym lads that are into it as well. There seems to be this crossover with it.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, where's the link for that?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's because you've got all these like roided
Oh,
up,
yeah.
like strong like space knights with
Yeah.
guns and swords, and it's like
I'm going to pick me.
Yeah, yeah. But I love that because it's escapism, it's creative, and you kind of zone out, and you have to concentrate just enough on painting the model that you haven't got time to sit and stew about
Yeah.
everything else that's going on.
Yeah.
And it's an excuse just to meet up with your mates and roll dice and have
Yeah.
a few beers and just kind of chill out, zone
Yeah.
out.
Switch off more of that and focus on that.
Yeah, so that's kind of my go-to thing. And my girlfriend kind of she acknowledges that that's important. It's not just me kind of trying to run away or
Yeah.
anything. It's like, no, I just need some time to do that. So she's really supportive of that.
Yeah.
So it's important to have carve out those little sessions, whatever it is, whether it's doing that kind of stuff or going to the gym or reading or playing sports. Whatever.
Yeah.
So,
No, I agree. I every now and then I'll come in and I'll put the PlayStation on and I'll play like
video
theme
games,
park.
Yeah.
Like I don't like I'm just like putting a bush on a wall and it's got to be right. And but I'm like you said, it's that therapeutic, just switching off. And I think what a lot of people don't understand is when we do these things, it's not because we're boring and it's because we need to switch off from struggles. And that is, you focus in mind for what you do as well. It's got to be very focused, but it's a different kind of focus. It's a relaxed focus.
Yeah, it just takes the pressure off a bit.
Takes the pressure off. Exactly that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good, really. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
All right, so all going well with sunflowers then. So is there a next step for sunflowers? Is there something that you're aiming for? Or is it maybe open up another branch in another county? Or
yeah, I mean, at the moment we only cover Gloucestershire, and I'm not kind of too sure on the rules and regs, but I think that's kind of part of the of some of the funding agreements that we get from funding grants. But Abby, our CEO, she kind of handles that kind of structure of the charity. We are definitely growing. I mean, our liaison team at the moment is expanding. I'm fairly new, and we've got Jay has just recently joined the team, and Laura, I think, will be starting very soon as well. So our liaison team is expanding rapidly. So I think we're going onwards and upwards with the charity. But in terms of the long-term kind of next steps, in terms of, it'd be great if we could move into other counties, but I think that's all depends on how it works on Abby's level.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's in store there, but we're definitely growing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you think in the space of what, 7 years? 2018, wasn't it? So
Yeah.
7 years, like
Yeah.
new offices, 450 families that you've supported.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're definitely growing, and fundraising opportunities. If anyone would like to donate to me and Brandon's wing walk, then I think we've got a Just Giving page. If you type in Rory, Brandon, wing walk.
Send me the link, and I'll put it here.
Strong, yeah.
I'm doing that because I'm gonna Photoshop it in. So like I've seen people do it. I was like, "What's it doing?" But yeah, Photoshop it in. I definitely put it on the page as well. So
because that's how we grow is from donations. So All of those initiatives, if we can get them, as big and successful as possible, then we've got more chances to grow in different directions, depending on how Abby kind of sees us moving going forwards. But yeah, it's all positive stuff at the moment.
So when are you doing that?
That's 18th of September.
It's not that you can even train for it, really, is it?
No, you
Stand
just
on
get
top of the
strapped
car.
up. Yeah, you just get strapped up, and then you just have to deal with it. For some reason, I thought that I'd be like lying down.
No, there's
kind of
like
comfortably.
You're like wedged. There's like
You're
bars
kind
that
of
come
like-
up, and you're braced in.
Yeah, you're stuck in there. So yeah, no training. I don't think. Just try and just deal with it.
How long are you flying around for?
I think it's like 15 minutes, which is like
Can't
long.
even take snacks up there either.
No, that's long, man. So
You'll be alright. You'll be fine. You're right with heights and stuff.
I don't think it's sunk in. Well, when I go to Bristol and I walk over the suspension bridge, my knees start.
Yeah.
I get tingles in my knees, so I think I'm starting to get like an actual issue with heights. I never used to.
It grows. It grows. I'm a roofer by trade, so like.
Does it actually?
Even now I'm like, oh, hang on. Like, let's just say for a ladder fully extended out, and I gotta get up there, change the gutter bracket, or whatever. Then back in the day, straight at there. I think but.
Really?
Yeah. No, I'm like, oh.
It's weird, isn't it?
I think it's because I know in my head, because I got a family, and they rely on me to provide.
Yeah.
My missus works also, but it's a case of if one of us was out of action.
It's that fear of.
It's that fear.
Who's going to look after?
It's not the fear of what could happen to me. It's the fear of what could happen to everyone else if I can't work.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So it's like, oh, but yeah, it does. As you get older, definitely gets a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's sunk in yet. What I'm going to do. Yeah.
Is anyone coming to watch you, or is it just going to be like filmed? Are you going to film it and post it?
Yeah, I think people are welcome to come to the airfield on the day and watch it, and obviously Sunflowers will be there filming the whole thing. So yeah, we're going to try and make it a big event. And if you, Shane, if you want to join us, Take to the Skies, you can also register if you want.
Busy that day, real busy. I don't get me wrong. I remember my missus telling me when she was younger, she jumped out of a plane, and it's one thing in my head I've always thought I'd want to do.
Yeah.
But the more I think about it, it's like bungee. Have you ever bungee jump?
No.
I would, in theory, I would love to.
Yeah.
But in reality, I don't think I could.
No chance. No.
I'd rather
if I struggle walking over Clifton Suspension Bridge, I'm not sure.
They always say, so whenever you're about to do something sort of adrenaline wise, if you haven't done it in the first 4 seconds, every second thereafter it gets worse, like a percentage in you, and you won't do it. So if you just if you can get yourself out there in the first 3-4 seconds, you'll be all right. But anything else, then you start panicking, you start going over your head, the legs start going. It's mad when the legs go, isn't it? Like just that little those
tingles in the
it's
like, oh god, here we go.
I've only got little short legs as well, so it's like it just looks real funny. But Rory, thank you very much for coming in. Is there anything else you want to cover?
No, I'm just going to shamelessly plug the wing walk again.
Yeah.
So just give in, if you search Rory Brandon wing walk, please, any donations, even just a few quid would be most welcome. And it all goes to Sunflowers, so it all goes back into the charity that we're all kind of really proud to be a part of.
All right. It's that time of the interview where I'm going to ask Rory the question that Andy left, and then we'll get a question off Rory. So I do this with everyone.
Okay.
Obviously, you haven't seen, so you're like, oh, what's he on about?
Okay.
So what we do, whenever we get a guest in, I get them to leave a question for the next guest. And then I want you to leave a question for the next guest.
Cool.
All right?
Yeah.
No pressure. So Andy's question was, if you had problems and you were sat opposite yourself, what advice would you give yourself to get over said problem? Now, it's a bit of a weird one, but it's basically, do you know what I mean? Like, how would you answer if you would take the emotion away from it, you had to answer someone's question. You had to answer someone's problem, sorry. How would you do it?
Yeah, I mean, if it was For myself or just in general?
For yourself.
Yeah.
You've got to answer your own problem.
Yeah. I would say to myself, wait, so yeah, so
it's a trick one, isn't
I'm
it?
overthinking it now, but if I was talking to myself like in the past as if they're about to go through something difficult, just be like, I would probably say to myself that I would know that this would give me some reassurance. I would say like, just stay calm and don't try not to panic too much. Try and break it down as small as you need to get through. Don't feel like you have to have everything figured out straight away. Just try and stay a bit loosey-goosey with things and break it down into as smaller steps as you need to. But you'll have it.
That's a brilliant answer. That's a brilliant answer. Be calm. Don't try and solve it all at once. Break it down.
Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah,
I like it.
I think I'd be like, okay, because I know what I tend to try and do is try and rush to get everything nice and neat in a row.
Yeah.
But sometimes that doesn't always work. Like,
I think that's really good advice.
Yeah.
So everyone take that on board. Thank you for that. Right. Have you got a question? It doesn't have to be something like amazing, and it could be some of this we've had. Can
it be weird?
It could be weird if you want.
Yeah.
It could be. It's your question. You ask whatever you want.
Cool, man. I would ask the next guest, do you think we are going to get UFO disclosure from the US government anytime soon?
I like it. It's took a different direction, but I like it.
I've been watching UFO documentaries recently, and it's getting really exciting with some of the stuff that's coming out.
Okay. Do you think they'll ever get disclosed?
Watch this space, yeah. Wouldn't surprise me. With Trump, anything can happen. So
you never know. He's going to release all the files.
Yeah, release all the files. So.
Well, I like that. We went in a different direction with that, but I think that's a bit.
See if you can use that. Otherwise, I can send.
No, we're using it. We're using it. That was the question. We're using it.
Cool.
I like it.
Cool,
I think what that might do is that might encourage other people to, because not to think so seriously when they come in and ask a question, because everyone thinks they've got to ask a question to do with mental health. And sometimes it's just that light-hearted question as well to make people realize it's, we're all going through troubles.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be serious all the time, every time.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to leave it there. I've been Shane Mitchell. You've reached Half Men Talk, and we've had Rory in the studio. And thank you very much for coming. And
no worries, man. Thanks for having
me. Your time.
It's been great.
Like and subscribe. As always, people are not liking and subscribing. I will fight you. No, I won't. I'm a weak. Don't fight me. We'll leave it there.